Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Promise Ndigani Ndlovu, and this is my second video on my YouTube channel. Uh, yeah, so before we get into it, please like, subscribe, and comment and share. Okay, my name is Promise Ndlovu or Promise Ndigani Ndlovu, and this is my professional profile. And this is my professional profile. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm a professional, or rather, my professional experience is I'm a web penetration tester, ethical hacker. I conduct vulnerability assessments, penetration testing. I use different tools. I do document findings and recommend security solutions. I was the former head of research and development at ICTA's NIPA chapter, the school association. Yeah. So I was the former head of research and development at the CAS NIPA chapter school association, where I'm currently pursuing my information systems degree at the National Institute of Public Administration. And then as for my certifications, I am someone who is qualified with risk management both at country and regional level. I have my Oxford ISCIP certificate in the introduction to critical infrastructure protection. I also have mental health from AfriSafe, information security, and many others, just as a brief overview of who I am and and these are my skills. So I'm a professional penetration tester. I do penetration testing. I do ethical hacking. I also do vulnerability assessment, web application security. I am good when it comes to leadership and collaborating with teams. I also have keen attention to detail. Okay. Aside from that, we can move to our next one. Okay, what we'll be discussing as of today, aside from my professional background, we'll be talking about the cybersecurity in Zambia, the challenges, the causes, and also I'll try my best to provide practical solutions. So some of the information that I've gotten is from government and private sources. So let's go. This is one of the series that I'm going to be educating people about, and it's a new one that I'm starting. Rather, it's the only one that I am starting because this is my second video on my channel and we shall get let's dive into it. So this is cybersecurity in Zambia, challenges, causes, and practical solutions towards cybersecurity. So this is the cybersecurity educational series where I guide you or where I teach you about the challenges that we face, the causes, and how we can solve these challenges in Zambia, looking at how we are moving towards the digital age and how fast-paced the world is changing. Okay, so one of the objectives that we're going to go through here is how to understand, or rather understanding the main cybersecurity challenges that Zambia faces. We're going to look at the root causes, why these problems exist. We also get to review evidence from government and private sector. We have a practical, scalable solutions and how to adapt quickly to new threats, challenges, and cyber attacks from cyber threats such as advanced persistent threats, threat actors, insider threats, and how to protect yourself in general. So we have gotten, I read books and resources to deeper, bring you deeper into the understanding of the challenges that Zambia faces in terms of cybersecurity. Okay, just a quick snapshot for context purposes. So Zambia is rapidly into the digital transformation in Zambia, where we have mobile money, online services, and electronic government such as the Smart Zambia initiative. And then we also have the growing attack surface, which is we have more devices, cloud services, and digital payments. So more devices, a lot of people are now going towards mobile phones, smartphones such as Android and iOS, iPhone, Samsung, different types of phones. Cloud services such as AWS, like cloud infrastructure, I get to store your things, business context, business servers, sometimes even just your personal information. We also have digital payments such as mobile money transactions, electronic banks, and things like that. We also have sectors that are very important, such as the government, like the Ministry of Transport and Communications and Zambia CIRT, the banks, the telecoms, and the private sector. Okay, so as I said, important actors or those that protect us every day and just improving things in terms of technology and in terms of cyber security context. So we have the Ministry of Transport and Communications, and then we also have the Zambia Computer Incidents Response Team. That's what the CIRT stands for. And then we have banks, we have telecoms, and we have the private sector. And then we also have what we call the legal and policy framework. So Zambia has a cybersecurity act that was enacted as of 2021, and there's a new one for 2025. So we have the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act of 2021 and related regulations that deal with cyber criminals, cyber threats, and cyberbullying in many other things. And also in 2023, the National ICT Policy, Digital Strategy, and Cybersecurity components, also emphasizing on the legal and policy frameworks of cybersecurity in the Zambian context. So we also have the Zambia Computer Incidents Response Team (CIRT), which shows or has regulatory rules for critical information infrastructure. And then we also look at the recent high profile incidents. So one of these high profile incidents are attacks and attempted ransomware incidents affecting financial infrastructure. So these attacks could be maybe financial attacks, it could be impersonation attacks, social engineering attacks, and ransomware where they lock or encrypt your files and they tell you to pay a certain fee so as they can give you back those hidden or encrypted files. So that's what ransomware is, and these mostly affect the financial infrastructure or the financial sector, such as banking. It also affects your mobile money transactions and many other things that deal with online money transactions. We also look at one of them, which is a large-scale cyber fraud syndicate that was uncovered in Lusaka, Zambia, where we had different multinationals operating in sim farming, where people thought they were actually working for a good company and it turns out they're actually scamming people. So there's a lot to do that comes to it. So these are different nationals doing different operations, doing sim farming, where sometimes similar to that of sim swapping. Yeah, just like that, creating fake sims, it works, and then people get your details and your money goes just like that. But there's more to sim farming. I stand to be corrected in case I've made a mistake here and there. And then we also have scammers and SMS phishing. So scammers are basically people trying to get your identity and things like that. So SMS phishing is where they send you messages like maybe you know that we are going towards an election year, like one of these phishing links I came across on some of the WhatsApp platforms that I'm on. It's talking about saying the Electoral Commission of Zambia is hiring people, and then there's a link there. It's using tiny URL and things like that. I think one of these days I'll show you a video of how to catch or detect phishing, or let me just show you in this same video. Yeah, I'll just do it in this same video and we'll illustrate how this SMS phishing actually happens, or maybe I'll just create a separate video. So for now, since it's just on the education side, we won't have any demos. We'll just focus on the educational side of things and just to bring cyber awareness into the fray so as everyone can understand the problems that we face. Okay, and then we also have identity theft. So this is where people get to steal your identity, such when they have maybe your NRC card, they have your phone number and PIN, and then they start to act as if they're a person. So sometimes this one also goes hand in hand with financial attacks because their intent is to get money from you. And the next one are the key challenges that we face here in Zambia a lot. In Zambia is that we have very, very low cyber awareness or cyber security awareness across both public and many small and medium scale enterprises, the SMEs. So because of this, it's very easy for many people to get scammed, very easy for people to get hacked and things like that. And then we also have a limited skilled workforce and the retention problem. So the skilled workforce is that we have limited cybersecurity professionals because there's low cyber awareness and many people don't take the field seriously. So very few people venture into the security field. And then also it's hard to restrict or minimize on the problems of the skill force. And then we also have resource constraints for government and small institutions. So sometimes because we have not heavily invested into cybersecurity as a country, it becomes difficult for government to now allocate these resources, or rather money, infrastructure, and support for cybersecurity, which makes it very difficult for security in Zambia to like improve and adapt to these situations. And also for small institutions that maybe can't afford cybersecurity services, because the cybersecurity services are very expensive, and so many of them tend to just like go into business without having the security aspects, or if they have security aspects, it's just at a very, very basic level. And then we have fragmented coordination between agencies and private sector. We rarely coordinate between government agencies and the private sector. Companies, businesses, organizations, SMEs, and things like that. Because of this, it becomes difficult to share knowledge in terms of the security aspects. We also have what we call legal systems with configuration and patching. So, sorry, legacy systems. So these are old, outdated systems that have reached their end of life, or EOL. And then weak configuration, where like we are using software that is not configured in a secure way, and patching usually takes long. Patching is basically fixing a problem that has been found in a software in the cybersecurity context. And then we also have things like social engineering attacks such as SIM swapping and phishing. So SIM swapping is basically where someone will maybe ask you, or maybe you'll be using that SIM card, and when you maybe, let's say your WhatsApp gets hacked. Let's just give an example, right? Let's say your WhatsApp gets hacked, and then you try to request a code. Instead of you receiving that code, someone somewhere else, whether maybe in the corporate belt or outside the country, is getting that code and being able to log back into your account with those efforts. So the way to stop SIM swapping is basically by deleting that WhatsApp and reinstalling it. And then after you have reinstalled, what you can do is you add two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication to keep to and also to prevent SIM swaps, phishing attacks such as fake SMSs that seem to like to be legit. This is basically where they manipulate you into believing it's an actual thing. So these ones exploit economic pressures, like the way we have a job crisis of unemployed youths. So this one can now exploit many unemployed youths, because a lot of people are desperate. They can send links about maybe um, they can send links about job adverts. They can send links about making money easy. So because of these economic pressures and unemployment rates, they can easily get that. So that's the phishing, and these are under the challenges that we do face here as a country in Zambia. We also have inadequate incidents reporting and threat intelligence sharing, because we did not invest in these cybersecurity and security institutions earlier as the as it was growing. Now we get to face these challenges as we are becoming very, and it's very slow, it's very hard for the country to adapt just in a short period of time. So these are one of the major key challenges that we face as a country. And then why are we facing these problems? What are the root causes? So because of the rapid adoption, the fast pace adoption of digital service outpacing governance and skills. So we have gone into the digital age without having proper governance and the necessary skills to understand the security aspects of these digital services, such as mobile money transaction, mobile banking, e-commerce. We also have things like cryptocurrency now into the market, blockchain technologies that deal with finances. So that again sure brings about a skills gap in the technology, meaning very few skilled individuals have to do multiple tasks just for them to protect your services. We also have little investment into cyber hygiene and secure procurement. So very few people are aware of the dangers that come with using these digital services, because even as we go into digital services, cyber attackers, bad hackers are going to try and get access to you, try to get maybe provide a fake service, a fake VPN to get your credentials and information and steal money from you, or even maybe just to use your identity to get one or two things done that benefits them personally but puts you in trouble. And then we have also socio-economic factors, like as I mentioned earlier, we have the youth unemployment being exploited by syndicates, like maybe they get to hire you and then instead of you working as maybe a computer engineer, a security researcher, you turn out being a scammer. Well, they have manipulated your mind to think that you're actually helping, you're actually scamming people out of their money. And then you also look at how there is low prioritization of the continuous training and drills, so they don't prioritize cybersecurity as much, which becomes a problem because now you have very limited skills and you don't have many much cyber drills, make it very difficult for it to like curb and respond to incidents and cyber attacks. And then some of the evidences that I got from government and private sector, and these are what they say according to the sources I got them from. So we have new laws. So these new laws, sometimes you have to create new policies because every time there's a new law, organizations and companies have to adapt. And then we have the computer incidents response team formation. They have to form that team first to get experts, people from different fields in security. So as they form this team, and then you have to have regulations for critical infrastructure, creating new regulations, means and ways to prevent cyber attacks for the critical infrastructure such as power grid systems and essential government services. And then in the financial sector, we have banks that report phishing, like people trying to do fake SMS attacks, social engineering, ransomware, encrypting people, trying to encrypt bank data so as the bank should pay them or pay these cyber attackers. So ransomware attempts like that, and mobile fraud concerns. Sometimes you can fake messages or maybe fake an SMS or a TXN, like where they say you have received money, but when you check your balance, there's no money. And then once you wire the money back to the person, you've actually sent the money in your account into the attacker's account. So remember, whenever someone sends you money, check your balance. If there's no balance or if you have nothing in your account, report that to Zikta at *707# and they'll do their job. And then we have the private sector reports. So according to the private sector reports, it looks at capacity. It means they don't have capacity and the budget does not meet the needs that for security and the need for vendor risk management. So these are the challenges that they are also facing, and this is why they don't prioritize security as much according to the key challenges. So practical technical tools for orgs or organizations, multi-factor authentication, having different types of security layers everywhere to make it a little bit harder or more harder for an attack to access that information. And then we also need to have regular patching and vulnerability management. As I said earlier, patching is just fixing of a weakness in a system, and vulnerability management is finding those same weaknesses and managing them before a hacker can exploit them or use them against the organization. We also look at network segmentation, basically breaking the network into different segments or layers to separate the network from the public and the internal functions of the organization. And you need to look at the least privilege for admin accounts, so you don't give an admin or admins multiple privileges because they become high value targets for attackers. You also look at endpoint detection and response, EDR. This is mostly used for critical systems, and this can be helped both in government and organizations as well. We also need to look at regular backups. You also need to look at regular backups like air gapped and tested recovery plans. So these are ways that you can deal with to control certain issues and make it a little bit difficult for hackers to get access to the organizations or government critical systems. Okay, so we also have organizational and process solutions. So these are the ones that I came up with based on the information I got. So we have the national and sector CERT and CIRT capability building. This is where you get to train different security professionals that get to monitor, observe, and respond to these different security concerns in terms of cybersecurity. Then we have public and private threat intel or threat intelligence, where they are sharing platforms and fortnightly coordination calls. So basically, every time they coordinate with each other every night, and day in and day out, just to share as they share platforms, they also share intelligence. We also have what you call mandatory incident reporting and clear service level agreements, which is SLS, for critical infrastructure. You also look at the procurement reform, where we have security requirements in vendor contracts. We also look at upskilling programs and cyber internships to build local talent. So this helps build local talent by improving the youth. So basically, this helps at least the youth who are unemployed get more into the cybersecurity field, lessening the gap, not by much, but at least increases and lessens the skills gap for digital services and security practices. And then we also need to look at how we can best have a quick adaptive strategy where we get to establish an incidents playbook and run tabletop exercises quarterly. So every quarter of the year, we can look at the incidents playbook to check how many incidents reports or how many incidents have occurred and how best to respond to them in time, on time, and to prevent losses. Because whenever an incident occurs, it causes service disruption, it causes organizations to lose money in regulatory payouts and also reputational damage. So by having an established an incidents playbook, it helps improve the security strategies. And then we also have to create small SOC light, which is basically security operations center, a triage. So where you get to escalation to external MDR if needed. And then you also use threat hunting and subscribe to regional threat feeds. So basically, you look at threats across Africa. And then you also look at rapid awareness campaigns. So like, okay, we have SMS phishing, we have USSD code phishing, we also have WhatsApp phishing. These are scams. When new scams emerge, how do we respond to them? How do we allow the public to be more aware of these same scams? We can also look at community and workforce actions. So when we partner with universities for curriculum and internships, in terms of things like that, it makes it easier for people and students to dive into the security and help in terms of reducing the security gaps between digital services and how best they can keep security people, and then people, the public, and you, the person as a security researcher safe. So you also look at certifying entry level staff, such as using certifications by vendor ready or vendor accepted industry wide and worldwide, such as the CompTIA, Security Plus, EJPT, or even local equivalents. And then we also have mentor programs and hackathons to surface talent. So by having mentor programs guiding people into security, hackathons to build practical secure solutions, or maybe teaching people how to hack into systems so as they know how to defend the same systems. And then we also have what we call recommendations, or what I have recommendations for policymakers. So by increasing funding for the Zambia Computer Incident Response Team and public sector cyber capacity, it helps by increasing their funding, it helps improve their detection and responding time. And then we also get to enforce critical infrastructure protections and data residence rules sensibly. We also get to support national awareness campaigns by using radio, TV, and social media. We can also look at how we can promote public-private partnerships, yeah, and just joint public-private partnerships on a regular joint basis for everyone, or for everyone to be aware of these cyber threats. And then the recommendation for the private sector, we need to adopt baseline security standards such as multi-factor authentication, patching, and backing up of our systems. So we also need to invest in staff training and incidents response drills. What is going to happen in case an incident happens? Let's say if the organization gets attacked, how are we going to respond to that incident? How long is it going to take for us to recover? And how much reputational damage is it going to cause for us? And then you also look at how you can join threat intelligence sharing groups and coordinate with the CIRT, the Zambia CIRT, which is the computer incident response team. You also need to look at how you can conduct regular third-party security assessments. So when you look at measurable key performance indicators to track the progress, we have a number of reported incidents and the mean time to detect and contain. So you need to look at how many reported incidents have occurred and how long has it taken for us to detect and contain those incidences. We look at percentages of organizations with multi-factor authentication and regular patch cardinals. And then also look at the number of certified cyber professionals graduating locally before you can look internationally to get locally graduated cyber professionals, because they have just graduated and they're able to have fresh knowledge of the cyber field, as this is an ever evolving field. And then we also get to look at the frequency of public, private, and information sharing events. So public, private drills and information sharing events help reduce or improve the key performance indicators to track the progress of how we're able to detect and contain these issues. So when you look at the graphical representation, according to the National ICT Policy 2023 Implementation Plan from 2022 to 2026, this is what I found. So here it shows a graph of how things have been moving from 2016, 2017, all the way up to 2023. And then we also have, it shows like the number of mobile cellular subscriptions in Zambia from the year 2000 to 2024. This is in millions. So from 2000, we got to move to a higher number of subscribers when it comes to mobile cellular subscriptions, such as getting on MTN, Zamtel, Airtel, and now we even have Z Mobile. So this is how it gets to show that we are growing as a population, and the digital need for security is very much needed and necessary. We also look at the trend in mobile money and digital transactions as proxy for digital economy growth and potential cyber fraud surface. So here, when you look at the mobile money payments, and these are valued in millions, right? So according to the years from January 2021 to January 2023, it showed how much people are starting to use mobile money transactions, which also increases the monetary value of cyber fraud or cyber scams online. And then just to conclude, I would like to say that for us to help Zambia, we need to have a rapid digital growth that can be expanded rather, to help the national attack surface across mobile, internet, and financial technologies. We need to look at cybersecurity challenges that persist due to limited skills, the low public awareness, and even coordination between government and private sector. We also need to look at government frameworks such as the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act and the National ICT Policy to show strong intent but require stronger implementation. So it has good intent, but the implementation is not as much and does not show as much, or doesn't have that much impact as we want to see. And then we also need to increase the infrastructure such as towers, mobile money systems, and the internet penetration. It also demands equal investment in security controls and continuous monitoring. We also need to look at the public-private collaboration. Yeah, like we're going to have incidents reporting and threat intelligence sharing are essential for faster response to evolving threats. We also need to look at building national cyber resilience that requires ongoing training, awareness, campaigns, and rapid adaptation. And with that being said, I will leave you with my professional profile. And my name is Promise Ndlovu or Promise Ndlovu. I am a security researcher. My professional experience is an assistant web penetration tester, ethical hacker. I conduct vulnerability assessments and penetration tests. I use tools such as Kali Linux, Nmap, WordPress, and Codebuster. I document findings and recommend security solutions. I was the former head of research and development at Tecta's NIPA chapter school association. I'm currently pursuing my degree in information systems at the National Institute of Public Administration NIPA, and my certifications are security risk management professional at both country and regional level. I also have an introduction to critical infrastructure protection, which is from the Oxford Academy, mental health from AfriSafe, information security from Sail Academy. I am a certified professional ethical hacker from Allison Academy, I am an advanced security threats and governance from Great Learning. I am certified in many fields, and these are my key skills: penetration testing, ethical hacking, vulnerability assessment, web application security, leadership, collaboration, and have good attention to detail.